So how Carte started or came about was actually the idea for this type of technology came about in 2017. Just at the time, I had no idea how to go about it, and I had no idea what to do specifically. We were consulting with particular restaurants that wanted to expand, that wanted to open franchises, that wanted to open branches. And I personally saw the need for their technology to evolve, because for me, I looked at it and I was like, man, this tech, it's old. But honestly, the idea took root a bit later, I think about 6 years later in 2021.
6 years.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6,
Wow.
somewhere there. In 2021, when I was sifting through business ideas to come and bring to life. And I think the biggest motivator was COVID, because I realized that, one, when we were on high lockdown, level 5 and 4, we couldn't go to restaurants. Level 4, I know that courier companies started working, delivery companies started working, Uber Eats, Mr. Delivery, Take a Lot, and them. Restaurants only opened, if I remember correctly, in level 3. And then, even then, when we went to restaurants, there were strict COVID restrictions and regulations. 2 people per table, this long distance between each other. You're not supposed to touch the menu before sanitizing. The waiter has to wear a face mask. They have to stand at a certain distance. It was a lot.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I was like, how about we made this whole ordering process simpler? And with the ordering process, I was like, payments can be simpler. And I think why payments particularly, it's because the payments landscape keeps on evolving all the time.
Yes, that's true.
For instance, we started paying with cash. Then we moved on to bank cards, physical cards. Then cards migrated to being on the phone, virtual cards. The phone itself became a payment instrument. You know, I don't know what else we will pay with in future. Now we even pay with our smartwatches. So I was like, how about we innovate on the menu itself, but more critically on the payments? And when you think about it, I looked at the problem. What was the problem? The friction. Sometimes when you go to a restaurant, you realize that, one, you go and wait by the door, particularly if you didn't book in advance. Find a waiter, that takes about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, show you to their table. Then they will, absolutely, they will leave you, go serve other people, come back after about 5-10 minutes. Are you guys ready to order? If you're not ready, they will leave again, come back after. Now you spend literally about 20 minutes without having ordered, without having eaten, since you arrived at the restaurant. You order and your food comes and everything. And sometimes you want seconds. You find that the pasta you ordered was nice.
Yeah.
The fries you ordered were nice. And in order to get those seconds, again, either I have to call your waiter. Sometimes they don't even see you. Hey, so-and-so. My problem with those two things are sometimes it's rude, and also it is time consuming that I have to keep on calling my waiter. That's the second problem. So this is a sub-problem. The main problem I'm talking about now is just time. I realized that we waste a lot of time with these processes. And one thing, the second problem was that it robs the waiters of the opportunity to give you the best hospitality. I'm like, oh, okay, hospitality is also an issue.
It's an important factor.
Yeah, because now they're serving, but also they're thinking about, I need to find the card machine, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that. It's a lot, you know. And then the third problem I looked at was, sometimes when we go to a restaurant, let's say maybe we are 4, friends of 4 or more. We sit here at a long table, and sometimes, you know, when it's time to pay, we want to split the bill. Not all of us are, you know, bless us with money, bless everyone in the table. No. Sometimes we just want to split and pay what I ate. And that's the other problem. It takes time. We have to whip out our phones, calculate, and do all of these things. And you find that sometimes, like I said earlier, you ordered a glass of cool drink. I ordered 3 shots of whiskey. I know that my whiskeys cost more than your cool drink.
Yeah.
And sometimes then splitting the bill equally is not fair. I just need to calculate whatever, tick on the slip there, and then calculate, okay, now my fare is 400. Tap on the card reader, and all of these things take time.
Yeah.
And also, even when it comes to tipping, how do we tip? Maybe say the bill is 400 rands. Now, before we even start splitting the bill, we start calculating the total of the 400. 400 times 10%, oh, okay, it's 440. And then we start splitting. Okay. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So all of these problems then informed the solution that I wanted us to make. And so I was like, how about we create a solution that allows customers to scan a menu and order from their phones. When it's time to pay, split according to the app. When it's time to tip, we tip according to the app. So tip automatically counts itself, and you can even customize it on the software. And then we pay from the phones. Easy. So the process is you find maybe, say, for argument's sake, a QR code on the table. You scan it, it takes you to a browser, you order, and then you forget.
Yeah.
When it's time to pay, or time maybe to reorder your food, you scan again. Because it has memory, it'll tell you, okay, this is the amount due. Do you want to scan again? Do you want to order again? You press on order, and then you continue. When it's time to pay, you scan, and then you click on pay. Then it'll ask you, do you want to pay equally, split the bill equally, or split the bill per item? If it's per item, I scan, click, and then say pay. I pay on my phone. The next person just scans. Because it has memory, it'll show them the remaining items. Here are the remaining items. Tick on your own. Tick, pay. The next person, just like that. And throughout the whole process, we've saved roughly about 15 minutes. That 15 minutes could be used in two ways. For the customers, to go do other things before they go home. For the restaurants, more table time. 15 minutes of saved wait time of one table seating means that we can accommodate 3, 4 more, 10 more tables in a day. So instead of accommodating, say, maybe 100 tables, we now move to accommodating 120. That's more money for the restaurant.
And you're saving time, efficiency.
Yep.
And making some...
You're making, yeah. So, and I think for the waiters, then the benefit becomes they just focus on serving. You don't have to worry about what the kitchen is doing. You don't have to worry about having payments and whatever and whatever. And if I give the best hospitality, I get more tips.
That's true.
What I've realized is people are always willing to pay for convenience. And that's what Carte does.
Amazing.
So now, Pule, just I've just explained how we came up with this idea. At what point did you join? How did you join Carte?
When I joined Carte, I think it was around 2022.
Yeah, late
2022, right? And it was a perfect time even. I remember you explaining the idea, and it was an interesting one, to save people's time, customers' time, and the restaurant's time as well, so that everyone can have a perfect opportunity to enjoy or focus on the things that matter. So for me, joining Carte was specifically to fill the tech role. And it was amazing because at the time we didn't quite have a large team. It was just, I think, the two of us.
Yeah.
And the solution was not even bad at the time. It was more of an idea. But I could see the idea and where it can lead, how many people could impact, So I was
Like, let's do this.
And in what role then were you playing there? Despite being the co-founder, your experience,
Yeah.
how did it come into play with you becoming co-founder?
Okay, so with the roles, particularly the one that I joined, it's more on the technical role. So my background fitted perfectly with it because it needed to build a solution. We needed to build a solution. We didn't have a team. So we were bouncing ideas all around, and we spent 2023 doing all the research that we needed to do. We investigated the market, and we saw that whenever we ourselves visit restaurant, we actually, see the issues there.
Yeah, we experience these problems firsthand.
Then we see a better approach of us to, okay, maybe let me do this to solve this. So it was a good one. And through our research, we were actually able to
Start building.
building on solutions that people will actually use and what restaurants will utilize. And it's a beautiful thing that now we are here. The future for Carte, it's something beautiful to think about. If you think about it from where we began without any solution, just 2022, 2023, we looked at the research, the market research, and how this can actually, impact other people's lives. And here we are, 2 years later, 2025. And
What do you think the summer will look like? I mean, the solution will look like maybe in 5 years' time.
I think with AI and all of these technological tools coming through, I think the future is looking bright. I think from where Carte is now, in the future, it will, integrate more of multiple tools and as well as be a household name. The future of Carte is looking bright. If we look at the products and the company as a whole, in the future, we want to look at various things. For example, on the product, we would like to look at things that are relative to what people would utilize, like maybe a POS, point of system. That's something that, people can utilize, businesses can utilize as well, and which will further take the Carte household name further. And, in terms of the business itself, we want to be in Africa. We want to be an African country and go to various other African countries. And I think that's where the future is leading us currently, where we are.
True.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's your view of it?
We're excited about it. I think for me, the other thing I noticed when we're doing our research in 2023 was the township market just here in South Africa. It's underserved for the most part. And I mean, look at the thing. We have restaurants in the township. We have Shisanyama Sports, we have Quarter Sports. If we're able to create a solution to be tailored to them as well, we'd be tapping into a very different and underserved market.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think for me, in addition to what you've just said, that is one of the most important things, and particularly because I come from the township. Anything that will develop the township further is close to my heart.
Yeah. And, one of the markets, township markets, are one of those markets whereby not a lot of people go into.
Absolutely.
And there's such a need. And I feel Carte in the future, I mean, even now, we are working towards that.
Yeah.
And in the future, utilizing all the technology tools that we can utilize, we can really reach that market and tailor for them as well, as you mentioned. Have you ever thought about like the importance of having a co-founder? I actually thought about this the other day, and it's actually your co-founders, the ones that you select, is actually important because you can be non-technical and you need someone technical. So you need a balance between the two. So it's a nice thing to merge. If your background is different and my background is different, and then we meet, we build a solution.
Absolutely.
Similar to what happened to us.
I mean, I had the knowledge of the market. You had the knowledge of the product and how to build the product. So I think you're right. Complementary skills are important. And I think the most important thing, other than just skills, having a relationship with someone that you partner with is important. That we've known each other for years.
Yeah.
Coming to Carte. We met in
20, yeah, you forgot about it, right? It's been such a long time.
2015, if I'm not no, 16.
Yes.
Since then, even way before we thought about founding a business together. We had built a friendship, a relationship together. So it negates having to learn each other when we start the business.
Absolutely.
We start and then we just engage. And I think it's worked best for us.
Yeah. And you need trust as well in a business, right? You cannot work with people that you don't quite trust.
But
Yeah.
if you have a relationship before, you've built that rapport.
Beforehand,
Yeah.
you know.
True.
So it's a merge of different diverse skills, and you know, it does. I mean, it's serving Carte well,
Yeah.
and it's
True.
what we're looking forward to. And it's always important to pick the right person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Because I think a partnership in a startup or any small business is like a marriage.
Yeah.
Easy to get into, but
Had to go.
where you and I are not married, but I mean, we've seen things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you marry the right person even in business.
Absolutely. Yeah. But don't say that to my.
What does cut do? I mean, we've explained in detail what the problem was and what the solution is, but I think in just a shorter description of what we do, we make sure that restaurants have a much more streamlined and easy payments use, and customers get their time. I mean, we save customers time. So basically, we are helping restaurants to streamline their payments and get creators to get paid. Because remember, the hospitality industry and the restaurant industry is much bigger than restaurants. There are various type of restaurants. Restaurants at a hotel, bars, cafes, pizzerias. It's many, and to support that, the supporting cast are the chefs and the cooks. So we want to make sure that we get both those things in balance. Get restaurant paid through the tech, and find ways to support the creators also in this economy, and make sure that they always have gigs and they're always paid and they always have something to do. But I think in short, what Cut does, the baseline, is we make sure that customers get to scan the menu. When they're ready to pay, they get to split the bill,
Yeah.
and they get to tip well and eventually pay just using your device or your mobile phone. That's it.
Absolutely. And you've had the same time as money, right?
Absolutely. We save them time in the process. And time is one commodity that you can't get back, no matter what. So if we can make sure that they save about 15 minutes to go do something else, that's we've won. If we can save the restaurant 15 minutes per seating, we've won them at 20 extra tables. So that's what we're trying to do. The technology is there, but we're not married to it. I mean, solutions will always change. Technology will always innovate. But just to make sure that we save both the restaurants and the customers time, that's what we're aiming to do. While the restaurants make money, while customers get the best service.
Beautiful.
Main.
Solid. Nothing to add. G. Drop it.
So to wrap up, what are you looking forward to this year? Is Carte.
What are we looking forward to this year, Pulemans? You know, the biggest thing is to make sure that we finish working on our MVP and we go commercial. That's the biggest goal for this year, really. But I think the other goal is, I know it's a long shot and we might not get in or whatever, but we are confident in ourselves and what we do. So we're going to try either way. Either get into Y Combinator. It feels crazy talking about it like this. Y Combinator, yeah, the biggest startup accelerator in the world, or Techstars. But also not neglecting any of the accelerators that are out there. I mean, there's Google for Africa startups, there's Founders Factory, and many others. But our biggest vision, I think you will add as well if I leave anything out, is to make sure that we go commercial, and we start signing people in, customers, and we want to see people using our tech in the restaurants. That's the biggest goal.
Yeah, you're right. And from where the journey began and to where we are and to where we want to go throughout this whole entire year. Yeah, I mean, we've got a plan even lined out, right?
Absolutely.
All the action items are just pending for us to implement. And we even left some duration for the future. And maybe 6 months. What will happen after 6 months?
Yeah.
So it's something that we have in mind. and we are working towards reaching our objectives. And eventually,
We'll go commercial eventually. Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's it. I'm excited.
I'm super excited too.
Yeah.